It's the Eagle Community Television Forum with your host, Gary Shorman.
Hi everyone, I'm Gary Shorman and this is the Forum on Eagle Television. It's great to have you watching along. Our forum's brought to you by Hayes Med. We have a special guest here, a special guest from China who is a former student at Fort Hays State University. I found him, or I guess he found me, on Facebook and sent me a note on our Facebook site. I always talk about that, but he said, Gary, I'm a former student from China, and it'd be great to talk about international students and what they mean to our community. Well, since that time, I've done a little research, and you have had an interesting experience here in the U.S. How did you get to the United States?
Well, Fort Hays State University has two major partnership universities in China. One is CS International University, and the other one is Shenyang Normal University. So I went to Shenyang Normal University when I was in China. And then in 2014, I got my bachelor's degree in organizational leadership from Fort Hays while I was in China. And then I was offered a full scholarship opportunity to go to a graduate program at Fort Hays. So that's when I came to the United States in August 2014. And in last May, I got my master's degree in communication studies.
Well, Marcus, I want to tell you, had a chance to travel back when Dr. Hammond was president, traveled in China and attended both those universities and the graduation. And it's impressive the number of Chinese students that go through a Fort Hays degree program in China. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that was very exciting for us. When we were in China, we took classes with American teachers, and in the classroom we were only allowed to speak in English, and we were given the opportunity to know more about American culture and American classroom. So that was a really unique experience for college students in China.
Well, let's go back. Where's your home in China, and what was it like?
So my hometown is called Fushun. It's in Liaoning province, which is located in the northeastern part of China. So from my hometown to North Korea is like 5-hour drive. So that's a very particular location. And then my hometown has a population of 1.9 million people.
And that's a smaller town in China, right?
My city is considered as a third-tier city in China, which is considered as a smaller city. And we already have 1.9 million people.
Talk about what you did growing up, because there's a lot of people watching the program here going, you know, part of the advantage that I see and many of us see in the China program is the back and forth and what you learn. What did you do growing up as a young person?
Well, I would say as a Chinese kid growing up, the majority thing that I did was to study at school, because that's basically the only thing that I do. We normally go to school at 8 in the morning, and then we get off at around 9:30 in the evening. That's kind of a typical day for us. So we didn't really have a chance to go out and do some part-time jobs.
So
like
you
the
didn't
American
get in
kids.
trouble? You didn't
No,
never got in trouble?
No.
Okay.
I just get off school and I go home to get some sleep, and then I come back the next day. So.
And how did you get a chance to be in the university and participate in the Fort Hays State? What transitioned and how did you do that? Because I understand it is real competition to get into these programs.
Well, yes. When I graduated from high school, I'm supposed to take a national college entrance examination, and the kind of university that I go to is based on the score that I get at that exam. And based on the score that I got, I went to Shenyang Normal, and after I got enrolled in Shenyang Normal, in the first 4-week orientation process, they asked me, do you want to be in the program with Fort Hays? And I was like, okay, because I was always obsessed with American culture and speaking English, so I thought maybe that's a good opportunity for me. So that's why I chose to go with the Fort Hays program. So, and then I did it for 4 years. Yeah.
Let's talk about, you graduate from university in China, and then you come to the U.S. What was that transition like? Well, especially in Kansas. I mean, it's a little different than what you used to.
Yes, this is a very different experience for us. First of all, after I came, the first place that I ever went to in the United States is Hays, Kansas. And there's a very small population compared to the city where I went to college, because at Shenyang Normal, the city has 5 million people, and the entire state of Kansas have 2.9 million people. So the population change was one of the significant things that I witnessed after I came to the United States. And then So when I walk on the street, I don't see a lot of people walking. I see a lot of cars, but I don't see a lot of people. And then people are very friendly in Hays. When you meet a stranger on the road, they'll say hi to you. But in China, because there are so many people on the street, you don't have time to say hi to everybody. Yeah, so
I
that's
noticed
different.
that as well going to China, just the amount of people at any one point in time, you're just people around you all the time. Did you find the English, the difference of training in English in China versus getting here? Did it take a while to get used to what and the way we talk?
Yes. So the English that I come across in America is different from the English that I learned from textbook. So like in textbook, they don't teach you to say bless you after some people, sneeze.
Yeah.
That's a unique experience. And in the textbook, they don't tell you to say good when people ask you, how are you? They tell me to say, I'm fine, thank you. What about you? That's what I was told in the textbook. But there's a lot of new things that I got to learn in real life in America.
And what about studying? Were your study habits then the same when you got here and when you're working on your advanced degree?
Well, I would say the biggest difference in terms of studying is that in an American classroom, you are very encouraged to express your opinions. You are encouraged to even challenge the teacher. In China, we were really not given a lot of opportunities to share our opinions. And once you have different opinions from different students in the classroom, that's when you really learn some good stuff. That's my opinion.
Well, I like that, and the fact that you chased us down or found us, said, hey, I want to talk about this experience because it was unique. What do you feel that it brings to the community when we have foreign students here or in other universities across? How does that help?
Well, I believe that diversity is very important in a college campus or even in a community, because when you have people from different cultural backgrounds, you really learn from these people. You really learn from these international students as a human being. So you won't be, only thinking about certain stereotypes that's portrayed on the media. You actually see them as a real person, and you learn from them because they bring different opinions. And when there's diversity in the thinking process, that's when creativity happens.
Well, Marcus, there's so many things we could ask about as specific classes and things like that. I want to take a break. We're going to come back, and you have a YouTube site.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And the YouTube site has some adventures of Marcus.
Yep.
Yeah, and so we'll talk about that when we come back. Then we also come back and talk about maybe the reverse, what it means to have people from the United States, this area, come over to China, and how they can be involved in that as well. Because it's great to have you and talk about this.
Yep.
You talk about diversity. This is a great example of how you learn more about people from around the world. Marcus Gao is our guest, and he's a former student at Fort Hays State University, part of the international program there. We'll be back with more after this.
Hays Med is your first and best choice for healthcare. They're the only facility providing tertiary level services in this region. With more than 70 physicians and 26 specialties ranging from heart, orthopedic, spine care, cancer, obstetrics and gynecology, wound care, rehabilitation and surgery, including the Da Vinci robotic surgery, Hays Med is your comprehensive health provider for people throughout Western Kansas. Hays Med, helping people be healthy.
Are you frustrated with Wi-Fi dead zones in your home? It happens when you don't have Pulse, the cutting-edge Wi-Fi solution from Eagle Communications. A Pulse-certified Eagle technician maps your home, then installs a dual-band modem and router, plus discrete access points to deliver wall-to-wall Wi-Fi with no dead zones. Pulse powers all your family's devices in all the places you love to live. Get Pulse, Wi-Fi made simple, only from Eagle Communications. Call today.
Welcome back to the second half of our forum program here on Eagle Television. If you can do what Marcus did, just go to our Facebook site and ECTV Forum. You can link up there and let us know if you have an idea for a guest, something you'd like to talk about. We'd like to hear from you. You can also email me at gary.shorman@eaglecom.net. gary.shorman@eaglecom.net. Our guest is Marcus Gao, and Marcus is a former student at Fort Hays State University, a graduate student, graduated, and is now doing some work around the country, including a YouTube site. And Marcus, I just pulled up a sheet here, some of your adventures. Marcus takes you to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
That sounds like a fun trip. How to find jobs, a trip to Wilson Lake, and doing some of those things. Marcus takes you to Fort Hays State. You also went to Winona, Oklahoma,
Yeah.
the Little Sierra.
Yeah.
Boy, you've traveled around some, but
Yeah.
all of this is on your YouTube site.
On my YouTube channel, yes.
And so you're just sharing with other people exactly what your experience has been. Tell me about Las Vegas. That has to be a change from being here, a different part of the U.S. and a different
Yes.
culture in Las Vegas.
Yes.
What did you learn there?
What I learned in Las Vegas is that Las Vegas is a very big city. There's a lot of people walking on the street. It makes me feel a little bit like China. And then I watched a lot of shows in the different hotels, and then we had fun with the slot machine, and that's what I did. And I really want to record this experience so I can show this to my friends in China and my parents. Actually, I have a Chinese social media, which is also a video sharing site. And this video alone, Marcus Takes You to Las Vegas, got 20,000 views on that social media.
And that's in China for
That's
your
in
friends
China.
back there.
Yes.
And what about the one you also went to Kansas City on one of these, I believe, as
Oh, yeah.
well? And did it get the 20,000 views?
Yes.
It did?
Yes.
So what is the interest? You said you came here because you just were interested in the American culture.
Yeah.
What have you learned that will take you to the next steps in your career?
First of all, when I started doing these videos, I have a really pure attention. I want my parents to see what I've been doing in the United States. I want them to see that I'm able to talk with Americans in English. That's my very first intention of doing these shows. And then after several videos, my friends told me that they really like it. They really want to, know the real American life, which is different from what they see on the Superman movies or the Avenger movies. They want to get a real understanding about American culture, what real Americans do every day.
When you see that and you tell them, Las Vegas probably isn't a good example of what we do every day, but maybe the sand dunes in Oklahoma might be more of that, Lake Wilson, those things you see. And I'd encourage you, if you're out watching, going to your site. We'll get that on the video clip here in just a second, so you'll be able to see how to link up. I assume they can just search for your name, and the video will be there under Marcus Gao, and that's G-A-O at the end, Marcus Gao, and you'll be able to find those videos. And you do a nice job with this of putting it together. I had a chance to watch a few of these, and it's really interesting, your view of how this works and what you see and what you feel is important. Marcus, what's your next step? Because you've come to Fort Hays, you've graduated with an advanced degree in communication, you've tackled the English language, which is not easy to do. What's the next step for you?
Well, after I graduated last semester, I have found a job at St. John's Military School as a Mandarin Chinese teacher, as well as international admissions counselor, because St. John's Military School is also looking for more international enrollment. So they want to be like Fort Hays. They want to recruit more international students on their campus. That's what I've been helping them to do. And I will be applying for a work visa, which allows me to stay longer in the United States.
What is your student visa? How long can you stay under that?
I can stay in the United States with my student visa for as long as my program goes. And then after I graduate, I am allowed 1 full year of optional practical training. So during that process, I can find a job. And if my employer likes me, they can help me to get a work visa.
One of the things that we, in our country, we have a different political system. We've just gone through an election and inauguration.
Absolutely.
Has that been interesting for you, or are you more focused on just what's happening in our part of the world?
I'm really interested in the political system in the United States because they are different from what we have in China. Vastly different. And then when you see a different news program, they have their different opinions. I mean, like Fox News talk about things this way, CNN talks about things on that way. And then when I get all of these opinions together, that's when I get really fair and balanced in understanding the American political system.
Well, that's interesting when you look at it that way, because to some extent, there are so many different opinions about that, but everything is out there. Everybody talks about everything, versus in China that you don't hear that much about what's going on. And it's a different world. So that was interesting, your take on that. Also, what about food? Do you go home and fix up fancy Chinese meals every night?
Actually,
what do
no.
You eat?
I don't. When I was at Fort Hays, I eat at the school cafeteria. When I work at St. John's, I eat at their cafeteria.
What do you eat at home?
What I eat at home is I pour milk into cereal. That's what I eat at home. And also my girlfriend cooks some Chinese food for me.
Okay.
So, yeah.
It's good to have someone cook something, right? Yeah, that
definitely.
cereal thing could go. What would you say to somebody if they wanted to go from here, apply for the program at Fort Hays State, and go to China and learn? What would you say to them?
Well, I think that'll be a very good learning opportunity for the students who visit China, because it's a different culture, it's different language. You get to look at the world from different perspectives. That's something that's going to be very valuable in a person's growth.
How do you learn the Chinese language? There's no short, and the written language is even worse than, or harder to learn than the spoken word.
Yeah, when I think about how Americans can better learn Chinese, I thought about my experience when I first started to learn English. My advice would be just to go out and actually meet people, talk with them, share with them. There's a lot of nice Chinese people out there who are willing to help you to practice your Chinese. So
well, that sounds interesting. And Marcus, if they want to get a hold of you, they can find you on your YouTube site and do that and connect that way if they want to do it, if you want to learn some more. But I've really enjoyed having a chance to come in. Thanks so much for sending me a note that way. And good luck over the next few years. Keep us posted. And if you would, and maybe a year from now, let me know how things are going over at St. John's. Over there.
Yep. Thank you.
Very good. Marcus Gao has been our guest here, a former Fort Hays State student, an advanced degree in communications at Fort Hays State, now looking to go over to work in Salina at St. John's Military Academy.
Yes.
So be a great opportunity if you want to catch up on his YouTube site to see what he's doing. Again, it'd be under Marcus Gao, G-A-O at the end, and you'll find his YouTube video adventures everywhere from Las Vegas to Kansas City to Wilson Lake. Thank you for watching our Forum program here on Eagle Television. The Forum is brought to you by Hays Med and by Eagle Communications, our community connected.
It's a beautiful day in our super high-speed internet great customer service neighborhood. Like you, this is where we live. In fact, our company is employee-owned, so it's our goal to improve the quality of life for everyone in our community by delivering faster, more reliable internet, clearer, more feature-laden phone service, quality TV channels, all with the level of customer service you'd expect from people who are your neighbors. Eagle Communications, our community connected.